Golden State Media Concepts social media podcast. Time to hashtag everything. We talk about all the fun, crazy stories on social media. From Instagram to Facebook, Twitter to Tumblr, or probably even Friendster. Join us each week as we explore the quirky side of social media. It's the Golden State Media Concepts social media podcast.
It's simple, such a sad song. The one that we rely on to get us to.
Hello and welcome to the GSMC Social Media News Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Heidi, and I'm joined by Arianne.
Hello.
And today I have a couple social media news stories for you guys. I just want to start with one that I have noticed a lot on my social media news platforms. And this is just a bad case of man-shaming. It comes from Piers Morgan. I'm sure a lot of people have heard of it. And Piers Morgan was shaming Daniel Craig via Twitter. And the reason was because Daniel Craig posted a picture of himself carrying his baby, like in like the front baby carrier. I think it's called like a papoose or something. I don't know what the commercial term for that is.
I always called it a baby carrier.
Yeah, it's like a baby carrier, basically. And it's like on your chest. And Piers Morgan he shamed Daniel Craig for wearing one. And then Piers Morgan came under a social media attack by other fathers who shamed him for shaming Daniel Craig. Yeah. And what Piers Morgan did was he tweeted a photo of Daniel Craig, aka 007 James Bond, carrying his daughter in the papoose. And Piers Morgan said, "Oh, 007, not you as well?" And then hashtag papoose, hashtag emasculated Bond. And he has 6 million followers. And he tweeted that on Monday, October 15th. And then a bunch of fathers after that just retweeted and tweeted at him, basically saying you're completely wrong. How could you shame Daniel Craig for doing this?
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of wrong. I think that Daniel Craig, I don't know why that's shameful for a man to carry his baby that.
I would hope a man would want to even carry his baby in the first place, you know, and he's busy. So I don't know if for the people who do have babies out there, that is very helpful when you need your arms to do other things and you want your baby close to you too. So your arms are free, your baby's close to you. Does Piers Morgan have any kids?
I believe he does. And a lot of people were saying that was one of the reasons is because he has kids. They were saying you shouldn't shame him like that.
Yeah.
And he was he then came back and said I wouldn't say came back and corrected it. He kind of doubled down on his original comment. And he said, he quoted saying, "I just expressed a genuinely held opinion that papooses are emasculating, embarrassing, and unnecessary. And the virtue signaling world's gone bonkers."
Oh my God.
And then another user tweeted to Piers Morgan, "Imagine believing carrying your own baby in public is emasculating."
Right.
And then Piers Morgan tried to clarify, and he responded and said, "He's not carrying it. That's my point. He's using an emasculating papoose."
That's not. Oh my gosh.
I don't know. I feel like that's just a smarter way to carry your child. You know? Like you said, you want your hands free.
Yeah.
So I think it's dumb. I think a lot of people think it's dumb, what Piers Morgan said. And a lot of, when the social media users were tweeting at Morgan, pictures of themselves carrying their own children in papooses, one of the responses said, "This is the most I'll ever look like Daniel Craig." Yeah. Some guy. Okay. I saw another one of another father carrying his child in a papoose, and his thing was Bond, father-son bond.
Oh, I like that.
Which I was that's cute.
That is cute.
So I think it was kind of a creative way for fathers to get on a social media platform and say, I enjoy carrying my child this way. They're held close to me, and I really feel like it's a smart way.
I think it is too. I don't think it's just a mom thing to hold, because moms don't get shamed for having their babies in one of those, even though like they still hold them. They have plenty of things to do too. They need their arms free. They want their baby close. So yes, they put them in that. So I don't think that it's in any way emasculating. I feel like it's a unisex tool that people use to hold their babies, or accessory, whatever you want to call it. But I think they're very convenient and helpful, especially if you want to keep your baby close to me while you are a working parent.
Right. And I also think it's kind of like a sexist thing for Piers Morgan to say that it's okay for women to use it, but not for men.
Yeah.
Like, it's like you were saying, like, it's a unisex, like, item.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like it, like, comes in, I don't know,
all
like,
pink
says,
and purple.
like, for women on it, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I think that was kind of weird. And even Chris Evans, who we all know is playing Captain America, he tweeted in response to this to Piers Morgan, and he said, you really have to be so uncertain of your own masculinity to concern yourself with how another man carries his child. Any man who wastes time quantifying masculinity is terrified on the inside. I was like, that. Woo, that is a good clapback.
Go ahead,
But then Piers Morgan fired back saying Captain America wouldn't wear a papoose.
You don't know that. He didn't have any babies.
Right.
Maybe he might have.
I feel like Captain America would.
Yeah.
He's a good guy. He definitely would.
He would have one built into his suit.
Oh, yeah. His baby would have like a shield.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like over him.
Okay.
And I think that's also silly because like Chris Evans said such like a poignant remark, and then Piers Morgan just like tried to like insult him back, like Captain America wouldn't wear a papoose. Like, what? That's, I don't know.
You're like, my name is Chris, right?
Right,
like,
exactly.
Captain America, I play one on TV.
Right, and because he referred to Daniel Craig as 007, and referred to Chris Evans as Captain America. I'm like, these are like real people,
right?
Who are living their lives.
Get your reality fixed.
I know. And then also what was interesting and like related to this story is, so Piers Morgan does a morning show. He does Good Morning Britain. And on the show, he had a comedian, Harry Hill, and on, like, in the show, it's Piers Morgan and his co-host, and then this comedian, Harry Hill, and they're, like, at a table, like, Good Morning America, that type of thing.
Okay.
And the comedian, I don't know, I didn't watch the whole segment, I don't know why they were doing this, but the comedian was showing them how to make, like, pies with, like, shaving cream, the kind of, like, clowns throw at people.
Okay. Uh-huh.
But it looked kind of like a cake thing. I don't know. But, like, they're on the show, and it's weird. They're, like foaming on, like, shaving cream onto pies while talking.
That's nasty.
Which was weird.
Usually they use whipped cream for those pies?
Sometimes. I think sometimes they also do use shaving cream, which is gross to me because you can't eat it.
Well, it's, like, thicker, I think, too.
Ugh.
I don't know. That's disgusting.
I don't know. Maybe it looks better. I'm not really sure. But, so they were doing this, and Harry Hill is talking. He's like, if you, like, want to throw this pie at someone specific, you can even, like, put their initials. Like, you can spray their initials onto it. Like, if I were to spray a P in here. And then he does that, and then he pies Piers Morgan in the face.
Nice.
On air. And says that he pied him, and he's like, this is for all your comments about Daniel Craig and all the other fathers who carry their babies in papooses.
Yes.
And, like, pied him in the face. His exact quote was, this pie is for all men who wear papooses, and then, like, threw it at him.
Nice.
And he's like, this is for Daniel Craig.
Oh, yay.
And I thought that was pretty funny. Then apparently Piers Morgan took a pie and then pied his co-host or whatever. So I'm like, all right, whatever. But I just thought that was pretty funny, and I'm like, go Harry, like, way to stand up and use your ability to be on the show.
Exactly, to
get back.
Exactly.
And also when he did that, it was like completely silent on set. Like you could hear one person, like, like a producer or something, like slow clapping.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
And it was just met by silence.
Yeah, you deserve that.
Yeah. And Piers Morgan just like wiped it off his face, and I'm like, I think you deserve that.
Yeah, you really did. You really did.
That's weird. And then I thought that was kind of weird. Then he like took a pie and tossed it at his co-host, but whatever. Yeah. He had to keep the show going somehow, I guess. And generally, I think that Piers Morgan shouldn't have said that. I think it's like attractive when you see a man like carrying a baby like that. Like it shows like nurturing and like also like a woman carries the baby for like 9 months. Yeah, like a guy can have that strapped to his chest for a little bit.
Exactly. And it does show like more of a fatherly bond because you don't get to see a lot of that in social media or like in media in general. It's like, oh no, that's supposed to be the mom's job. Like, no, like the mom didn't have this baby by herself, So I really like seeing fathers play an active role in, taking care of their babies. So I don't see there a problem with guys, especially working guys who want to be with their babies and, choose how to carry their babies the way they want.
Right, yeah, and I know that some babies really do like being carried away because you're really close to your parents' chest and everything, and I know some kids really like that.
Yeah.
So I just feel like it's a good thing to do. Although I did see that there was one Twitter user, I mean, I'm sure there are others, I just noticed one that was supporting Piers Morgan in this. Really? And he tweeted, men who do this are into self-humiliation. And then Morgan's response was, or they've been ordered to by their wives.
Oh my gosh.
And I looked at the Twitter account of the guy who posted men who do this are into self-humiliation, and it is, in case you guys want to go on social media,
find him,
comment on him. But this is Seth Weather, who is a political strategist and former Trump Georgia State director.
Ugh.
So
go away.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't agree with that. Also, Piers Morgan's response, what is that? Or they've been ordered by their wives?
Right. No, that's not
That's weird. I don't know. Some people were also, I saw one father who tweeted, and he was like, yeah, Piers Morgan's always been kind of strange. Here's a picture of me and my baby. Right. And I'm like, yeah, that's weird.
And I don't know if he's ever carried a baby for a long period of time, but your arms get tired.
That's what I don't get. How are you supposed to not do that? I guess he's saying a stroller or something.
But no, but it's like you said, babies feel that comfort when they're closer to you.
Right.
When they're I think it's I think one of them, I read something a while back, and it reminds, because they remember the heartbeat of the mom when they're in the womb. So just hearing the heartbeat, or even the dad's voice, or just kind of being there, because he could even be talking to him. You don't know, it was a picture. So it's just comforting to the baby. Mm-hmm. So I was like, this story is crazy to me. Don't be mad.
I know. I agree with Chris Evans. If you're going to do that, you have some issues.
Yeah. So personal issues you need to work out.
Yeah, I agree. So, I don't know. Shame on Piers Morgan. Yeah. Go Daniel Craig.
Yep.
Go Chris Evans.
Chris Evans, yep.
Carry your babies as you want. Right? Feel no shame about it.
Exactly. I like Chris Evans because he always speaks out on certain topics like that. Or if there's something going on that he feels isn't right, he makes it clear that he backs up whoever he backs up. He definitely chooses sides, but in a good way. I seen him I can't even remember, but he always has something clever to say, and in the nicest way possible too. So I'm just go ahead.
Yeah, I feel like he really said it well.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I think that was a good comment. Yeah. Go Chris Evans. Good for you. So we're going to take a break, and then we're going to come back and talk about Apple emojis.
Always on the go, but the day just won't be one without your Hollywood fix. Let Golden State Media Concepts Entertainment Podcast take care of that. An all-inclusive look of pop culture.
Welcome back to the GSMC Social Media News Podcast. We are talking about the Apple bagel emoji.
This is so stupid. Not that the topic is, it's just people's reaction to it is mind-blowing.
And I think that's why it got so much traction on social media, was because either people were upset about it or were upset about how upset people were.
Exactly.
So what happened was Apple released a new bagel emoji to go along with the iOS 12.1 beta 2. So they're showing people this is what's going to come out when we do the update iOS 12.1, and they're kind of showing the beta, what's in process. Mm-hmm. And so they're showing all these new emojis. Apparently they're trying to do redheads and those with gray hair, and they're diversifying as they do.
Yeah.
And so people were looking through these, and there's a emoji website, Emoji Wiki or some Emojipedia. Oh, okay. That's what it is. So you can go on there and you can look at all these emojis. And one user saw the bagel emoji and basically took this and sent it out to the internet, and was like, guys, this bagel emoji is all wrong.
Oh my gosh.
Like, we have to do something. And so many people commented on it. One user said, it looks like something you get from a cardboard box in the freezer section at Walmart.
Oh my gosh.
And let me say, this is just like a brown bagel, like sliced in half. And the top half and the bottom half are kind of like skewed a little bit so you can see the inside, like the bready part, not just like the outside sheen. And it just looks like a breaded bagel. Yeah. I do think it looks a little like not like textury. Right. Like it looks a little like kind of boring, like plain. It looks like just like really smooth. It looks really smooth. And I am so amazed that people got so upset. Yeah. The emojis are actually defined by a company called Unicode. And they're like a standards group, but then every tech company gets to come up with the image they use to illustrate the emoji. So like that's why like Apple emojis and Android emojis look different because Unicode decides the emojis and then other companies like kind of pick how they're going to represent theirs. Right. So this is specifically for Apple, the Apple company. And they heard like all this criticism. And I guess because of that, they transformed the bagel emoji to a different form. And this was in the release of the beta 4 test for the iOS 12.1. And they said that it had like new and improved look and texture. And they added cream cheese. Yeah. Which some people don't like cream cheese. Don't like to eat their bagel with cream cheese. Or you just put a lot of other stuff like bagels and lox. Or some people just put butter. Things like that. But I don't know if this is why they added cream cheese, but the Philadelphia Cream Cheese Company also got in on this bagel thing, and they made a petition to add cream cheese to the bagel emoji.
Oh my gosh, it is so not that serious.
I mean, I think
I didn't know it was that serious. Sorry.
It is. Oh, it is, Arianne. And I think this was just like a genius marketing strategy for Philadelphia. Oh, because people are like, oh, Philadelphia cream cheese. They're so, they're so with it now. They're like talking about the newest bagel emoji. Right. Apparently on the petition, like it was unanimously like for cream cheese. Like so many people voted. Granted, I have a feeling if you don't really care about if it has cream cheese or not, you're not even going to vote. Right. So it's just people who feel very strongly about this or people who just have a lot of free time on the internet. Exactly. Which is like apparently all of us.
Or love cream cheese.
Yeah, who just
I
love
hope their
cream
sales
cheese.
went up for that.
I hope more people bought Philadelphia cream cheese. Yeah. Although after reading this, I did really want a bagel. So maybe it was successful.
I don't know. When I get a bagel and cream cheese, I am so cheap. I get the great value. Because you get more.
That's true.
So I'm like, oh, whatever. Sorry, Philadelphia.
That is true. Also, on some of the articles I was reading about this, people said that specifically New Yorkers were upset about this because, New York and bagels and
that's like their thing.
That's their thing. And so some people were saying that like where this was created by Apple in Silicon Valley, there aren't any traditional New York bagels. So they're like, maybe they did just get them from the freezer section at Walmart and base it off of that. Because there's like one... I know in California, I don't know, I'm sure this restaurant is other places, but there's like one bagel place, like Noah's Bagels, and they try and make like New York style bagels. So people were saying like, that's the only place you can get this, and everywhere else you just get them from the grocery store. So maybe they had just never seen a real bagel. Like people were super upset about the real bagelness, the New York bagel. So I don't know. I hope that people are satisfied with this because I think the new one, it has cream cheese. It has like a little bit more texture on the outside. Like it's not just a perfect circle and it looks like a little bit fluffier. I do think it looks better, but I don't know if I ever would have noticed this in the past.
I don't think,
Like if they had put it out there, I wouldn't be like, man, this bagel looks crappy.
Right. I don't think I would have done like, oh yeah, it's a bagel. Cool.
Right. I wouldn't be like, I'm not going to use it because it misrepresents a bagel.
Yeah. I don't think it does look better. I mean, it's making me hungry.
That's true. I would say it looks better. So I guess good job, Apple, for designing the improved bagel emoji. I also read that there is a lot of emoji-related anger over things. Like people get very upset and protective over how their emojis look. Wow. I did not know this. So I do actually remember this one. For Android, there was a burger emoji like debacle because Android put out their burger emoji and it was a cheeseburger and the cheese was below the meat patty. People were like, what? Oh my God. Like the cheese goes on top of the burger. Which, I mean, it does. I don't know why you would design it any other way. I mean, if you look at a cheeseburger, that's what it looks like. But I was just, people were so upset. And they were so upset that at like a Google conference that occurred after the like emoji thing, they opened the conference with apologizing for putting the cheese below in the wrong like order of things on a burger.
Oh, wow. This is amazing, people. You know, it's just going into your mouth and you're going to chew it and mix it all up anyway.
That's not what these people would say, Arianne.
Does it change the taste?
I don't know. It changes the emoji look.
Yeah, it does, but I mean, does placement of cheese and condiments and everything change the taste? I'll flip it upside down if it does. I don't care.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. That is weird. I only make my burger one way in a specific order. So maybe I've just been over-influenced by fast food restaurants. You might have,
yeah.
I have.
Try doing it underneath next
and
time.
See if it matters.
Yeah.
I think I might get shamed in public if I do, but I'll try in the safety of my own home.
Well, then try like this, because I've done this one before where if you don't melt the cheese with, like if you're grilling and you put the cheese over the meat on the grill so it melts, to where you grill it so you don't have to worry about putting the cheese on the grill, put it on the bottom bun and then put the meat over it so the cheese still melts because the meat is hot.
But I feel like then the corners of your cheese don't get melted and then you have weird like hard. Maybe that's why people are upset because your cheese would not be fully melted.
Yeah.
Maybe I could see that. Okay. Another thing that people got upset about was the apple paella emoji. I did not know there was a paella emoji.
Me either.
So paella is like a dish where it's kind of like yellow colored rice and then you cook it with like seafood and like chicken kind of. So people got upset because they said the ingredients were not authentic to the traditional paella recipe. So if you look at it now, it's the emoji where it's a little bowl and then it's like rice, but I couldn't tell it was rice, but apparently it is.
Oh, okay.
It's like a orange yellow color and then it has like shrimp and like chicken legs. I always thought it was stew, but it's paella.
Okay.
So I've been very wrong. I've been using it incorrectly. I also don't know when I would ever use a paella emoji.
Why?
I mean, I guess if people eat a lot of paella, then you use it, but
at dinner,
paella. Yeah, paella specifically. But yeah, so people got upset about that. Apple changed it, and then in a beta test for Apple, they changed the peach emoji. Which, if you've seen the peach emoji, it looks like a butt.
Yeah,
and they changed it to look more like an actual peach. And people got very upset.
Well, because they were using the peach in the form of how people use like the eggplant,
right? Because like the main use for the peach emoji is to represent a butt.
Yeah.
So people were like, "You're taking away the reason we use it."
Right. Don't change it.
Right. Don't change it. So then Apple immediately changed it back to what we all know and love.
Yeah.
And then there was also anger over the octopus emoji by Apple because it's kind of like a cute little octopus, and they changed it to make it look more realistic. People got really pissed, so then Apple changed it back to look really cute.
Okay.
It's like this sort of like cartoony, like with like cute little legs. So I guess people were upset about that. And then apparently like the classic like emoji change that people know of is when Apple replaced the gun emoji with a water gun. And that's like now the standard used by all major vendors. So it's a water gun, not a gun.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I guess I would agree with that one, I guess. Because I don't know why you need to...
Anyway. Have a real,
right. I don't know why you're sending real guns to people in emoji form.
Right.
That's kind of mean. Don't do that. So I see where they did that one.
Right.
But I don't know. I thought that was really interesting that people were so upset about these emojis.
It's like a back and forth thing though, because it's like some people want them to be super realistic and then some people want them to be the cartoon cute. So it's like, which one do you want? Pick your battle. We're going to either have them all look cute and funny or we're going to have them all look realistic. Don't get mad.
Right.
So
yeah, and I think that's why Apple has a mix of both, you know? But yeah, I did read that a sociologist said that we connect certain emojis to like our culture, like the paella one, or you know, like what we use the peach emoji for.
Right.
It's like a cultural use. Yeah. And so if you change it, that's like affecting someone's culture. So that's why people get so upset. Like New Yorkers and bagels is like a cultural connection. And so people get upset about like your representation or Apple's representation of their culture.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, okay. I guess I could see that argument. I don't know if people think about it like that consciously all the time.
No,
maybe people do, but I don't know.
The ones who get upset about it enough to like tweet or go on their social media accounts about it, obviously.
Right. They feel very strongly.
Right.
And also, the bagel emoji is not available yet, but unless you're part of the beta, but it will be available to everyone likely at the end of October. So coming up, you will have a new and improved bagel emoji and probably other emojis as well, along with whatever else Apple updates. Okay. So you can look forward to that in your next phone update. And then, also there will be a lot of other bugs that come along with your update and you'll have to wait for them to fix it. But you'll have a bagel emoji. So congrats.
Right. Good luck with that.
Yeah. Good luck.
Oh my gosh.
So we're going to take another break and then we're going to come right back and finish up our show of more social media news stories.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Welcome back to the Social Media News Podcast. Our next story has to do with Leonardo da Vinci. And some of you may have read this story. It is about Da Vinci's potential eye condition.
Right.
And one of the reasons you might have heard this before is because it's not necessarily a news story. People have spoken about it before and suggested it. They just have some new research about it. Mm-hmm. And some other research has come out to say that other artists may have had an eye condition as well, like Rembrandt or Degas may have had kind of a similar condition to what they proposed Da Vinci had. Mm-hmm. So they're saying he had a eye condition that helps his ability to render like three-dimensional like faces and objects with like a distinct sense of like depth and recession.
Right.
Kind of like more realistic, mm-hmm. not like the flat, like medieval paintings kind of. And all of this, well, the recent information was looked at by Dr. Christopher W. Tyler, who is a research professor at the City University of London, and it looks like he also works at the Eye Research Institute in San Francisco. And he recently published his findings indicating that Da Vinci may have had intermittent extropia, which is a form of strabismus?
Strabismus?
Yes,
sure.
Strabismus, yeah. Which is... like, he found this out by reviewing the artist's, like, portraits and self-portraits. He looked at drawings, paintings, sculptures. Mm-hmm. He looked at, like, 6 works to, like, check this out. And strabismus is a binocular vision disorder, and it's characterized by partial or complete inability to maintain eye alignment on a fixed object. And extropia, specifically what he's proposing Da Vinci had, is a rare form of the strabismus disorder that typically shows as like an outward shift of the pupil. Oh, okay. So it's sort of like a lazy eye, kind of. Like there's one pupil that is looking out to the side. Not just like fixated straight on one object.
Okay. So it's the whole eye that would be shifted off, or is it just like, because I've seen like the pupils where just the pupil is a little off in the eye.
Yeah, it's not like the whole physical eye location is moved.
Well, yeah, I mean like how it's like sideways.
Yeah, it would be like if you're kind of like lazy eye, like if you're talking to someone and they're looking at you, but then they might have another eye that's like kind of wandering off to the side, kind of.
Yeah.
And they apparently, so the Dr. Tyler, his research analyzed the angle of eye alignment in some of Leonardo's subjects. Mm-hmm. So like some works that Leonardo said were like self-portraits. Although some people have argued that may not be true because Rembrandt kind of believed that all works were a representation of the artist who made them.
Right.
Which is why Tyler felt that he could look at the paintings and analyze them like this. But then some people say that's more of just like a metaphor.
Yeah.
Or that if there is an eye difference, that might be a metaphor and not necessarily how Leonardo actually saw himself.
Right.
And, you know, it's not like we can ask him. So, so we're not really exactly sure. But the angles that they found when researching this do show a like skewed angle and do show signs of this condition.
On his self-portraits, like the slight eye kind of thing.
I don't know if it's all self-portraits. I think some of them were self-portraits or ones that he said represented himself.
Oh, okay.
So they're not all like direct self-portraits. But some people have said that they didn't analyze enough works. Like they looked at 6 and they said that because they didn't look at more than 6, that can kind of put some doubt in how definitive their claim might have been. Yeah, which I agree.
Yeah, he painted plenty of things.
Right, exactly. So I think, like, I don't know why they only chose 6.
Yeah.
Or if he was like, these are the most, like...
The ones where he said, these depict me.
Or something.
Or depictions of him,
Yeah, maybe there was some historical reason that he picked them. And over the past few centuries, scientists have looked at other artists who they think might have had this. And Dr. Michael Marmor has written several books on eye conditions of painters. And he said, like, for example, like Degas' failing vision in old age, like he got blurry sight. And that explains the artist's shift in style from like refined brushstrokes to like a coarser approach later in life. And I mean, I could see that, like that makes more sense to me. You know, as you get older, you change how you see the world. And like that might be like, oh, this would look interesting like this, whether you're aware that you're painting like that or not.
It still looks good.
Right. Like, I think that's still really interesting. And they're kind of trying to say that with Da Vinci's eye condition, that might have caused him to, you know, make art the way he did. So I don't know, interesting story.
That is an interesting story. I feel like they would need to do a little bit more research than just 6, though. I agree with other people. Because I mean, he, like I said, he has a lot of artwork.
He's a lot of work.
Yeah,
I agree. So our last story is one that I just wanted to talk about specifically because it's in my town. It's in where I live, which I did not know.
This is crazy.
This is a crazy story. So apparently a teenager brought cookies to school with their grandfather's ashes baked into them.
That's so gross.
It's so gross. And I had seen this story on social media, and I was like, man, that's gross. I guess I'll read about it. And then I saw what school it was at. So this is at the Da Vinci Charter Academy in Davis, California, which is where I live. I know where that school is. And it is a school for grades 7 to 12.
Oh my gosh.
And apparently, allegedly, the student baked her grandfather's ashes into the cookies and then brought them to school and fed them to some students. Some of the students knew that they contained human remains and ate them anyway, and some didn't.
Oh my gosh.
And authorities aren't 100% sure about that story, but they said that it is credible, which is insane.
So, okay, how old was this student?
I don't know. They said like a teen, but they didn't give, like, you know, the specific information of the student.
Oh gosh, gross.
But it's grades 7 through 12. And apparently the student brought the cookies to school October 4th, gave them to at least 9 other students.
Oh, nasty.
And this was crazy. One boy told the local media that, like, so there were like 2 girls who distributed them. One who's like, it was her grandfather, and the other was a friend.
Oh, nasty.
And he, apparently, one of the girls who gave him the cookie showed him the urn. So like she brought the urn, so he knew that it had ashes. He ate it anyway, which is gross.
Like did he? Okay, so when he ate it, was he like, oh yeah, whatever, you're lying, you're just bringing an empty urn, whatever, you probably have dirt in it or something.
Maybe he thought that, but he said that the cookie had like a normal flavor, but then he's quoted saying, but if you ever ate sand as a kid, you know, you can kind of feel it's crunching between your teeth. So there's a little bit of that.
No, that's so gross.
Right?
Why would you do that? Like, do his or her parents know that they took the grandpa? Oh my gosh. Yeah. I have so many questions.
It's unclear what the motivation was. And they're not completely, like, I don't know if they have definitive proof that it was true and it wasn't just like dirt. Because like they were like, it could be a Halloween prank.
Yeah.
Like that's possible. And the authorities are trying to determine what the discipline will be. Like, police have opened a case, and they're considering, like, they could do a charge for disposal of human remains in an improper manner.
Yeah.
They could also instead apply, like, a public nuisance charge. But it sounds like they might just turn it over to the school and the principal to address.
Oh, wow.
And apparently the school's principal did not explicitly, like, address this. Like, they sent letters to the families, to, like, all the families at the school, kind of explain the situation. But he said that there was no student who was, like, harmed. Mm-hmm. I mean, no one's health.
Right. Well, question. I have so many questions for this. Okay. We're probably getting out of time, though. But, like, isn't this some kind of cannibalism? Because, I mean, even though they're just still ashes, that's still gross to me.
Yeah, so technically there are now high schoolers who are cannibals.
Oh my gosh.
Because, if the girl who baked the ashes into the cookies, if she ate them, she would be a cannibal, and she would be considered an endo-cannibal, which is someone who eats remains of a relative, or, like, they consider it relative or fellow tribesperson, because there are some tribes that like, do that. But if people really did, then they would be considered cannibals.
Intentionally or unintentionally, sorry.
Yes. Yeah, so sorry, kids. So apparently the school said that the kids are remorseful of what happened, and that, you know, to an extent, some of it is a personal matter with the family, and they're trying to reserve the privacy of those involved.
This is just gross.
Yeah, and it's not clear how much was in the cookies, but no students reported feeling sick.
Oh my gosh, feeling sick? I feel sick just hearing about it.
I would feel mentally sick, for sure.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Those poor kids.
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, unless they enjoyed it. That's
I hope
just
they
even
didn't.
more weird.
Then they're cannibals.
Yeah. Why would you
Why
would you do that?
I don't know why.
I would be mad at her if she didn't tell me. And then I was like, I ate one of those.
Oh,
what?
yeah. I'd be so mad.
Yeah.
I don't know, Da Vinci Charter School.
Yeah, what are you guys doing?
What are you doing over there? So we're going to end today's episode. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you all have a good week.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Social Media Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.